Welcome to Slick Woody Fly, and what you're looking at right there is my brother-in-law, who is the man who taught me how to tie the Big Tasty. So I give him all the credit for the Big Tasty, although everything except the name. He didn't name it. And we're sitting at a freshwater lake in Sweden and having a great day. We've each caught a ton of fish, and some mountain bikers just went by. And yeah, having fun. Big Tasty's doing the job again today. Hi, and welcome to Slick Woody Fly. And what we're doing today is we're going to celebrate 400 subscribers. And I thought a lot about what fly I should use for 400 subscribers, and I think I have to tie a version of the Big Tasty. So what I'm going to tie is, I mean, you guys have, if you've been watching my videos at all, you know, in freshwater, this is my go-to fly. I tie it in a variety of colors, blended colors, anything from a size 8, 6, this one's on a 4, here's a 6. A little bit smaller, but still a great fly. If I know I'm in a little bit smaller fish, I tie them with a little bonuses like these two little feathers here. You know, I just love to mix and match and have different things for different applications. So don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. This is going to be a contest video. Don't forget to find me on Instagram. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a picture of this fly on Instagram, and the instructions for this particular contest you can find on Slick Willy Fly on my Instagram channel, and that's where I'm going to put the instructions on how to win this fly. So yeah, let's change the camera angle and let's tie a fly. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put in a size 4 streamer hook, wide gap. I pretty much only use wide gap hooks. And I'm going to go ahead and start 100 denier white thread. You know, it is really interesting. I tie this fly in a variety of colors. I find that this yellow bead, red body is just a really great fly. Pretty much all year round I catch fish with this fly. And I think it's interesting because I love watching videos and I love reading about the different fish that I chase, whether it be redfish, snook, tarpon, or in Sweden it could be trout and rainbows and whatnot. And I just think that I love to learn whatever I can learn, and I love to listen to people talk about colors and talk about what fish see or don't see. So you saw I put a little touch of super glue on there, and I just don't want my materials to spin. Then I'm gonna actually, that was a little bit more super glue than I really wanted to use. So I'm just gonna find a way to smear it around a little, help it dry a little quicker. Just like that. So now I'm going to go ahead and start thinking about attaching my two feathers. So with the two feathers, you have an option. You can place them so they go away from each other, or you can place them so that they face into each other. Both work. I've caught fish with both styles. I cannot truly say that I've caught more fish one way or the other, to be honest with you. But I can say that in my fly box, when I face them towards each other, they stack in my fly box a little bit easier. So I think I happen to do it this way more often just for that reason. And that's what we're going to do today. So you can peel all the little fuzzies off. It doesn't really matter. Makes it a little bit cleaner. But I want to use pretty much the full length of the feathers, you know, up until where the fuzzies started. So I'm going to give this a couple of loose wraps, making sure that they end up knife edge and right where I want them. And by knife edge, I mean that they will be facing up, not flat. Just like that. Beautiful. And now, because I had pre-prepped my Marabou, so with the Marabou I have 2 Marabou feathers and I have 2 strands of Flashabou Mirage Opal. And I pre-blended, and I've done videos where I show how I do this, but I'll put a link to one of my other videos which shows how I prep my Marabou. So I'm going to make a dubbing loop without destroying my feather. Gotta get the thread out of the way. Make sure that feather looks good still, which it does. Back to what we were talking about though, colors. I've learned now, since moving to Sweden, that trout see colors different than the saltwater fish that I'm used to chasing. And I've also learned that trout see fish even different than like a largemouth bass. It's very interesting. And I am by no means claiming to be an expert, but I love learning about it. So I've now attached my Marabou to the feather, to the dubbing needle, to the dubbing loop, sorry. And I'm going to use a needle to just dig out any trapped fibers. What I can say that I find really interesting is I know a lot of people don't think a lot about the color red when you're fishing deep. A lot of people will tell me that, you know, fish see grayscale and that the reds disappear as you lose light. Well, I could tell you that I use a lot of red, and I fish them generally anywhere from near the surface to up to about, say, 12 feet deep. Maybe they actually run a little deeper than that, but I would say somewhere in the 12 feet range. And I get a ton of bites with these reds. This little red, I promise you, this is a great fly. This yellow bead with the red Marabou feather, a little bit of Mirage Opal built in there. This is a great fly. I've caught a ton of fish, and I don't leave home without it if I'm in Sweden. It just is, it's a great, great fly. I can't give that enough credit. And it's hard to think that whole that the red disappears is actually true in the world of trout, because they're definitely seeing it, and they definitely are aggressive on it. So I think you should try it. But that being said, I tend to go with the old standard rule. I grew up with the people in my life that were teaching me how to fish, basically telling me bright sunny days, lots of sun, you switch to your super bright colors, your oranges and your yellows, and when it's dark or early morning, late in the evening, that's when you fish your darker colors, you know. And that's basically how we thought about it. And then, you know, growing up fishing the Everglades, we also had the idea that we were fishing a lot of predators that would lay and ambush. And there was two thoughts with the whole laying and ambush. There was the fish that are sitting in maybe like a little pocket, a little deep spot, you know, maybe a little sand spot in a grass flat or something. And they were looking up and looking for those fish that might, you know, swim over them, and then they would come up and just ambush them. You know, like a snook or maybe a speckled trout in the grass. And in those scenarios, you want to pick a color that will make that shape be more visible. So, you know, you think about, well, the bait fish that I normally see, they're light on bottom, dark on top, for obvious reasons. Light on bottom so that they're camouflaged against those predators that are looking up. They might blend a little bit with the sky. And dark on top so that the birds that are looking down into the water they're a little bit camouflaged from the birds. So I tend to fish those kind of colors if I'm fishing in, like, say, Chokoloskee or Flamingo, and I'm fishing something a little bit high. That's what I go for. And then you have your other type of, you know, like a snook sitting in the mangroves who's just waiting for a bait fish to swim by. You know, in that scenario, you want to have a little bit different pattern that shows that silhouette of a bait fish. And there maybe I would go with a little bit darker, you know, bait fish, like the whole entire bait fish a little darker. And then you have, you know, to consider dirty water. You know, a lot of times people, like when I would take people to Chokoloskee, they say, oh, this is dirty water. They don't realize that water is crystal clear. You take a cup and you pull up a cup of that water is just crystal clear. What they're seeing is the reflection of the bottom that makes the water look a little tannic or not super clean. But that water is clear. And from what I can understand, a fish like a snook, for example, they can see, you know, 10 times better than a human can see in the water. So if you can see, say, 18 inches, that fish is seeing out to 15 feet. You know, and if you're a good, appropriate shape and size little bait fish, that's something that he sees on a good amount, and it's just, you know, got enough of a silhouette, got enough of a color, yeah, that fish is going to come out and blast that thing. So I think that the colors matter. I just think that the colors maybe matter less. What matters more is if we think about how the fish are seeing them, and in what scenario do the colors become more visible to these fish. And I think that's probably more important than the actual color that we're choosing. But again, I do not claim to be an expert on colors. I have flies in every shape and color. I love them and I tie them. So you saw what I did. I took my Marabou and I worked it up the body, stroking the Marabou back constantly. And now I'm going to take a needle and I'm just going to pluck all the trapped fibers out as best I can. I do this in both directions, and I will then finish the fly with a little bit of head cement, or in this case I use a product actually called Fly Finish, just to make that knot a little bit more bulletproof. But this is a super simple fly, and I just cannot express enough how awesome the Big Tasty is. I literally tie this in every color. I have it in solids like this, or like the red again. I also love to blend. Black and orange is an absolute go-to. I think orange, for some reason, is an awesome fly when you know there's rainbows around. I just got a lot of rainbows on orange. And the black and orange has also been super productive for me. The black and orange also works good with browns. Got a lot of browns on black and orange. So I tend to fish the black and orange a little bit earlier in the day, and then I switch to a solid orange in the middle of the day when the sun is very high. Alright, so now I want to put that little bit of head cement we spoke about. And basically this fly could be considered finished. But we're going to take one final little step. Oh, I didn't talk so much about the bead. This is a 3.3 tungsten bead, which is size appropriate for this hook. And the last thing that we can do with this fly, super simple to tie, is if you think that the marabou is too long, which I don't. I actually don't think the marabou is too long in this case. But in the event that you thought the marabou was too long, there's a couple little fibers here. All you do is pinch the marabou in your hand and rip it off. Anything that you think is too long. Marabou rips pretty easy, and by doing it that way, you keep that natural finish. You keep the natural, uneven, very wispy kind of fibers. So marabou, one of my favorite materials, possibly my favorite material to tie with, because marabou in the water just comes to life. It's awesome in the water. I love this stuff. Alright, so welcome back. So there it is. The 400 subscriber contest fly. A white Big Tasty special. This fly right here, I promise, will catch a lot of fish. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I can't thank you enough. I'm having a blast making these videos. I'm probably gonna put a little bit of extra in this video. Maybe I put some photographs of fish caught with Big Tasties. But I promise you, this is a great fly and will catch you a lot of fish. Thank you for watching. Thank you for having cocktails with me. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. And if you want a chance to win this fly, Slick Willy Fly on Instagram. That's where you're going to find the instructions for this contest. Thank you. Good luck catching. See you on the next video.